In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful, my dear friends and fellows here in Pakistan and abroad, drifting. Look, certain things, because of the pressure of the air or that of the water, keep slipping from one point to another and not with the effort of any human being or that of their own. Drifting. Look, we the human beings, we drift as well. We drift as well. How? There are certain things in front of me and you and the rest of the human beings. Something appears as an option, and we think that this is something quite immoral, unethical, that is intellectually, scholarly wrong, that is morally, ethically wrong. I'm not going to do that. But what does happen that with the passage of time, either because of the external seduction or because of the internal, lack of strength, we keep moving slightly, gradually toward the wrong thing which was earlier rejected and despised upon by us. Now, look, some of the people, men and women, they are having extramarital love affair. And initially, I believe that most of these people were saying no to something which is as immoral, as unethical as this one. But there was persuasion externally, and there was the lack of strength or lack of willpower internally. What did happen then? That a person kept getting weaker, and the seduction and the seduction and the persuasion externally kept working, and then to from inside us, from the inside of the human being, there was the lack of strength, and there was a kind of seduction from inside as well. A person did feel and started thinking that maybe this is something very pleasing, very enjoyable, and I should be enjoying myself of this thing. I think we start doing the same thing which was initially rejected, despised upon by us the humans. If at all we look back upon our previous life, what will appear in front of us will be that there were several things in our life that which once appeared first time, we thought that this is something really wrong, I'm not going to do that at all. But with the passage of time, either we kept motivating ourselves internally, or there was a sort of external motivation and persuasion, and we started doing the same thing. And then a time arrived that we became quite an habitual of this thing. There are certain other people who are selling the drugs, who are using the drugs, who are committing certain other types of heinous crime. But they people, if at all we look upon them, the way they people reacted against all of these external persuasion offers, they rejected it, despised upon it, and they thought that is something which is quite a criminal attitude, and I'm not going to indulge in it. But later on, with the passage of time, they kept inclining toward it, and a time arrived that it became their second habit, it became their habit, and they started doing it continuously, persistently, constantly. My dear friends, why does it happen? And is there any way that we can protect ourselves from a situation like this one? Of course there is one, and that is the reason that we have been discussing the issue today. Dear friends, now look, it is like, on the one hand we need to keep using our mind we need to keep generating the reasons that why do I hate this thing, why do I despise upon it, why do I look down upon it, why that is wrong, what are the arguments, and what are the reason that I should be against it, instead of practicing it, instead of start using it, I should be against this thing with absoluteness. And not only this thing, rather we need to seek the help of our emotions as well, because the emotions are very very important. On the one hand, our intellect or our head is very important. On the other hand, our heart, call it as your heart, call it as your emotions, these are also very very important, my dear friend. We need to seek the help of both of these. 50% of the work will be done by our head, and another 50% of the work will be done by our heart. We need to keep moving the both of these, our intellect on the one hand, our emotions on the other hand. And not only this thing, even after that, I think that we need to keep preaching. We need to let the other people know as well that what a wrong thing is it, and the people are falling in it. We need to protect ourselves from this like thing, because if at all, unless and until we do all three of these things, and maybe certain other things as well, then it will be very very difficult for us to keep ourselves protected from all those bad and wrong and unethical and harmful things. I think there are plenty and plenty of things like this one in the atmosphere around us. And if at all there are people who are seen indulging in these things unintentionally, undeliberately, initially they had rejected all that, but as the time kept passing, they people, were weakening. As far their resolve was concerned, their resolves kept weakening, and they not only that they surrendered, they did surrender intellectually, and they did surrender emotionally, and a time arrived that they were seen totally indulging in the things like this one. There are enough number of things here in the atmosphere. And as for the younger folks are concerned, I have seen there are people, the younger folks, who were so innocent, but later on, once they joined the college and there was a bit of freedom, or there was other sort of freedom outside the home, with certain new young boys who were indulging in the bad thing, and even the young boys, the young girls from the good families too, they too had gone astray. That is all the drifting process. I think that we need to protect ourselves from all that sort of drifting, and we need to strengthen ourselves. We need to strengthen ourselves mentally. We need to strengthen ourselves, emotionally, and we need to keep preaching it. We need to let the other people know how dangerous this thing is. Either it is it is, something like that of drugs or illicit sex or any other sort of crime. I think we need to adopt a strategy like this one, and that is the only way we can protect ourselves.